Picture this. You're trudging through knee-deep snow in the middle of nowhere, Canada. It's 1930. The temperature is brutal. You're expecting a warm welcome from friends you've known for years. Instead, dead silence. Not just quiet, the kind of silence that makes your skin crawl. Today, we're talking about Lake Anjikuni, a mystery that's haunted investigators for nearly a century. What happened here defies explanation, and honestly, it might keep you up at night. November 1930. Joe LaBelle, an experienced fur trapper, is making his way to a small Inuit village near Lake Anjikuni. He's been here before, knows the people, expects the usual: barking dogs, children playing, smoke rising from cooking fires. What he finds instead? Nothing. LaBelle's heart starts pounding as he moves through the camp. No voices, no dogs barking, just the crunch of his snowshoes and the wind howling through empty spaces. He starts checking the huts one by one, and this is where it gets really weird. Inside, he finds meals half prepared, like someone just stopped cooking mid-stew. Needles still stuck in half-finished shirts, food hanging over fire pits that are somehow still smoldering. There are no footprints in the fresh snow. None. It's like the entire village just evaporated. But it gets worse. At the edge of camp, LaBelle discovers 7 sled dogs, all dead, all still tied to their posts. They'd starved to death, despite food caches sitting right there. Now, if you know anything about Arctic survival, you know this is impossible. Sled dogs are life and death up there. No experienced person abandons their dogs, ever. Whatever happened here happened fast and left people so panicked they couldn't even free their animals. Then, LaBelle finds the most disturbing thing of all. There's a grave at the outskirts of the village, but it's been opened carefully. The stone markers aren't smashed or scattered. They're neatly set aside. Someone deliberately dug up this grave and took whatever was inside. Not even the dead were left behind. Imagine standing in that silent camp. Fires dying, food getting cold, dead dogs in the snow, even the graves empty. LaBelle didn't stick around to find out what could do something like this. LaBelle races to the nearest telegraph station and sends word to the authorities. Soon, a team from the Royal Canadian Mounted Police makes the brutal journey to Lake Anjikuni. They're probably thinking this trapper got spooked over nothing. They were wrong. The Mounties find everything exactly as LaBelle described: empty huts, abandoned belongings, kayaks still pulled up on shore, now locked in ice. But here's the kicker. Based on the evidence, they determined the village had been empty for about 2 months. Wait, what? If everything had been gone for 2 months, how were there still embers in the fire pits? Either LaBelle exaggerated some details, or something very strange was preserving that scene. No bodies, no blood, no signs of struggle, and crucially, no footprints leading away from the village. If these people left on their own, where were their tracks? The investigation takes on an even stranger turn when other trappers in the area start talking about weird lights in the sky around the time of the disappearance. Armand Laurent and his 2 sons swear they saw a large cylindrical object that transformed into a bullet shape and streaked towards Lake Anjikuni. This is 1930, remember, before UFO was even a term. The Mounties themselves report seeing strange blue lights pulsing on the horizon above the lake. These weren't the northern lights. They knew what those looked like. This was something else entirely. Something they couldn't or wouldn't explain in their official reports. After weeks of searching, the RCMP finds nothing. No clues, no answers, no trace of where an entire village could have gone. The official search is called off, and the mystery of Lake Anjikuni is buried in government files. Over the years, people have tried to make sense of what happened. Let's look at the conventional explanations first. Theory 1. Starvation forced them to relocate. The 1930s were brutal in the north. Maybe food became scarce and the community had to split up to survive. But this falls apart fast. Why abandon the sled dogs, their only transportation? And if they starved somewhere else, where are the bodies? Theory 2. Seasonal migration. Maybe LaBelle stumbled on an off-season camp that had been normally abandoned. The Inuit traditionally moved between hunting grounds. Except communities don't usually leave their stew cooking when they pack up for winter migration. Theory 3. The whole thing's fabricated. Here's where it gets interesting. The story first appeared in a Virginia newspaper, not a Canadian one. The reporter, Emmett Keller, was known for writing sensational pieces. The RCMP's Sergeant J. Nelson investigated and found no foundation for this story. He even questioned whether Joe LaBelle had the experience he claimed. Turns out, LaBelle only got his first trapping license in 1930, the year this supposedly happened. Today, the RCMP officially dismisses the Lake Anjikuni vanishing as an urban legend. They say they have no records of any such event. But that's exactly what they'd say if they wanted this story buried, isn't it? The lack of physical evidence is telling. No ruins have ever been found at the site. But then again, would the authorities really want anyone looking too closely at a location tied to unexplained aerial phenomena? The Arctic has always been home to terrifying stories. Inuit legends speak of malevolent spirits that lure entire communities into the wilderness, never to return. Some point to the Wendigo, an evil spirit from native folklore that possesses people and drives them to madness. The Wendigo is often blamed when entire communities disappear in winter. Could the villagers have fallen victim to something not of this world? Something that swept through the camp like a shadow, taking everyone, living and dead. And then there's the theory that really gets people talking: alien abduction. Think about it. Military-grade precision, mysterious lights in the sky that trained officers couldn't identify. An entire population vanished without a trace, even the graves emptied. Like some extraterrestrial force conducted a complete harvest. UFO researchers consider Lake Anjikuni one of history's largest mass abductions. The lack of bodies or evidence fits perfectly if you believe non-human intelligence was involved. Over the years, some accounts have become even more extraordinary. One version from the 1970s claimed 3 trappers witnessed a massive craft hovering over the village and bumped the missing population up to over 1,000 people. As one investigator put it, there are still no logical theories as to what happened here. When conventional explanations fail this completely, we have to consider unconventional possibilities. It's exactly the kind of explanation that keeps this mystery alive, and exactly the kind authorities would prefer you didn't think about too deeply. The Lake Anjikuni story has taken on a life of its own. After that first 1930 newspaper article, the tale went quiet for decades. Then, in 1959, writer Frank Edwards featured it in his book, Stranger Than Science, giving the vanishing village international exposure. From there, it spread through paranormal books, magazines, and novels. Horror author Dean Koontz's Phantoms, about an entire town's population suddenly disappearing, was reportedly inspired by this legend. Each retelling seemed more dramatic than the last. The missing 25 people became a lost tribe of 1,000. One grave became entire cemeteries emptied of their dead. Paranormal researchers in the 1970s and 80s tried to uncover the truth. Some, like skeptic Brian Dunning, dug deep into historical records and found nothing official. No Canadian newspaper coverage, no RCMP files available to the public. The authorities' position today: complete fiction, urban legend, case closed. But here's the thing. Even knowing all this, the story refuses to die. It's too compelling, too unsettling. The idea of an entire community vanishing overnight taps into something primal in our fears. It's like a modern Marie Celeste or a northern Roanoke colony. These stories stick with us because they represent the ultimate unknown, and maybe, just maybe, the ultimate cover-up. Standing here in 2025 with our satellites, instant communication, and digital surveillance, It seems impossible that an entire village could vanish without someone noticing immediately. But I keep coming back to that unsettling question. Could it happen again? Our world is more connected, sure, but there are still remote corners where mysteries can hide. Deep rainforests, high mountains, Arctic tundra where the nearest neighbor is hundreds of miles away. Even today, we occasionally hear about communities that were suddenly abandoned, though usually we eventually find out why. Natural disasters, economic collapse, government relocation. True vanishings are incredibly rare, which is exactly why Lake Anjikuni fascinates us. It suggests that maybe, just maybe, there are forces out there, natural or otherwise, that can erase a group of people without a trace. The rational part of me sides with the skeptics. It was probably sensationalized journalism, and no otherworldly forces snatched those people away. But another part of me can't help wondering, what if something truly inexplicable did happen in 1930? What if the official denials are just another layer of the mystery? As I wrap up this case, I'm left with that haunting image. Empty huts covered in frost, a frozen pot of stew over cold ashes, and a bitter wind whispering through the dark. Real or not, it challenges us to imagine the unimaginable. Could an entire town vanish overnight again? The authorities say definitely not. But the fact that we still ask the question, that's what keeps legends like Lake Anjikuni alive in our minds. Until we know the truth, if we're ever allowed to know it, the question lingers, and the mystery remains unsolved. What do you think really happened at Lake Anjikuni? Was it mass hysteria, government cover-up, or something far stranger? Drop your theories in the comments. I read every single one. If this story gave you chills, smash that like button and hit subscribe for more mysteries that'll make you question everything. Ring the bell so you never miss an episode, because trust me, the next case might be even more unsettling. Stay curious, stay skeptical, and I'll see you in the next one.